Big up the American Redact. Big up the American Redact. Not the American, but big up American Redact. New video just dropped. Ditching Brendan effect. The ditching Brendan Schaub effect. Big up American Redact. Let's fucking go.
If you're a comic, Brendan talks about you. Brendan is a narcissistic asshole who lies to people and defames them behind their back. That's not the kind of guy that I feel any sort of loyalty to protect his nature now.
Think you ever move back to Cali?
That's a cold open, bro. That's a fire open. That was a fiery open. And by the way, why does BJ look so red? Man, it's like a lobster here, isn't it? But yeah, that was a fiery open. Big up American Redact. One more time.
If you're a comic, Brendan talks about you. Brendan is a narcissistic asshole who lies to people and defames them behind their back. That's not the kind of guy that I feel any sort of loyalty to protect his nature now.
Think you ever move back to Cali?
Well, let's see what this guy has to say.
Sorry, Brendan. The podcast is over. It's just going to be some sting, Brendan.
All right, so at this point, it's starting to look like the Brendan Schaub curse might actually be a real thing. Because more and more people who once worked closely with Schaub are suddenly blowing up out of nowhere. And almost every time, it happens right after they finally ditch him for good. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense once you really think about how exhausting it must be to be around someone like Brendan Schaub on a daily basis. Like, the guy has the most toxic mentality of all time.
But you know what? Unfortunately, with someone like Brendan, he would spin it the other way. He'd say that everybody that works with me and leaves goes on to do big things because I'm a good identifier of talent. You know? He could definitely spin it the other way.
As he's failed at just about everything he's touched. And now, whenever he sees anyone doing better than him, his first instinct is to tear them down just to make himself feel better.
It's just like Billie Eilish and...
Her brother wants to be famous so bad.
I don't think so, because I think if he wanted to be famous, he would be famous.
Oh, no, he tried. He went on a solo career, and they're like, write music for
Phineas?
Well, change your name, though. Change your name and write music for your sister and shut your little mouth.
Phineas.
This personality he has on Golden Hour, I think it's obviously on purpose, right? It's obviously on purpose. He has this really like obnoxious, insufferable, confrontational, dickish, kind of like, you know, feet up, crossing his arms, laying back in the chair, talking under his breath. He's clearly got a persona he puts on the Golden Hour. I think that's the whole point of the show. He wants to get under the skin of like Eric or Chris, right? He kind of wants to be the contrarian. He's the in-house Republican there as well, type of thing, right? Right-wing kind of guy, which is not really true because he doesn't really believe in anything on there. He just wants to be counter what everyone else is saying. It's really annoying. Like, if you want to see the worst version of Brendan, like legit, if you want to see the worst version of Brendan, watch the Golden Hour. Watch the Golden Hour. He's on his worst timing on the Golden Hour. He's so insufferable. He's so like, you definitely want to throw him off a high building. If you watch him on the Golden Hour, he is so annoying on here.
It's O'Connell.
So all of his failures, from comedy to his whiskey brand to his fishy truck giveaways, have created...
Oh my god, the whiskey, bro. This feels like a lifetime ago now, isn't it? Honestly, Tiger Fig whiskey feels like a lifetime ago, a true lifetime ago. Like even the, I don't know if you can see the pictures here. Let me just make this smaller. Look at even the style. He's completely changed his style based on his like new hobbies. So, you know, incredibly fake personality, right? Completely changes his hobbies, completely changes his personal style, his clothing, his wardrobe based on what he's into. So when he was into whiskey, it was still sneakers, it was still streetwear, there was still a little bit of like the I'm into fashion type of thing guy going on there. And then when he gets into trucks, all of a sudden he's dressing like a mechanic. All of a sudden he's dressed like a mechanic, right? He's got the dyed beard, mustaching going on there. He's got the fake mechanic shirt on, diesel hat with a Marlboro thing, kind of, you know, a little bit, you know, working class, blue collar type, although it's not diesel. That diesel hat's probably worth £200 or something like that, maybe more. It's kind of funny when you think about it, right? These two different personas. Then you got the middle persona here, the comedian. Silly faces. Oh, what a time, man. Tiger Thick whiskey.
an extremely salty individual hating from a storage unit that he records his podcast in. And strangely enough, the people who figured that out early and left almost immediately saw success that went far beyond anything Brendan has ever achieved. And Theo Von is probably the cleanest, most obvious example of this. Like, I think a lot of people forget that Theo co-hosted a podcast with Brendan for nearly 4 years.
A lot of people knew within the Baposphere, right? Within the Baposphere, I think a lot of people within the Baposphere that are new definitely don't remember this, because I don't think there was a lot of channels covering this stuff when this was around. I think I was still there, obviously, because I'm one of the OGs, which is kind of an embarrassing thing to say, to be honest. To be an OG of covering TFATK and those associated shows is definitely not something to brag about, but hey, there wasn't a lot of channels out there covering this sort of shit, so there's probably not a lot of people that know that at one point Brendan did have a show with Theo that started off pretty good. At the start it was okay. When they started on the premise of like ripping each other, it was fine, but then I think Brendan's feelings got hurt and he told Theo to chill. That's my theory. I'm not sure if it's true, but the original premise of King and the Sting was them sort of like ripping into each other. Like every week they'd come with like, because that's how their friendship kind of got started when Theo was a guest on The Fighter and the Kid. That's one time it kind of got started off the back of him kind of ripping into Brendan ripping into him, and then they started to do a show together. But I think Brendan didn't like it after a while. I think he's notoriously very thin-skinned. I think he told Theo to like chill, and then the show evolved into just another podcast, and it kind of got a bit stale. But most people don't remember this. This is deep lore.
But the moment Theo started blowing up online, he instantly bounced.
Yeah, and then I got some sad news. I'm going to be taking a step back from being on King and the Sting. And
so Theo was the first major...
This is the worst one though, Theo leaving, because Theo's still his friend. The other guys aren't his friends anymore. That's understandable, right? The other guys Brendan fell out with in a big way. Theo, you could say maybe they fell out a little bit because of that whole Podcast One thing, right? Theo got owed money by Podcast One. People give the suggestion, or it's been suggested, that Brendan introduced Theo to Podcast One, so he kind of felt like Brendan kind of snaked him too when he didn't get his money, and then Brendan got his money in the end, but Theo didn't get his. I'm not sure if he still got his yet. So I don't think I'm gonna go on a limb and say I don't think they broke up on bad terms. I just think Theo chose his career, and I think Theo's agents, whatever, managers, sat him down and like, hey, your trajectory is this, but in order for your trajectory to continue going in this direction, you gotta like, you know what I mean? You gotta get rid of some dead weight and be sure with some dead weight. And that's why, do you know what I mean? So I think this one's gotta hurt more because they didn't end on bad terms. Theo just chose his career over Brendan because Brendan's obviously, has the opposite of a mind as such. So this has to hurt more because he hasn't come back ever. Like, he hasn't even done like a call-in. He hasn't done jack shit. He hasn't, like, zero. Theo has kind of avoided doing anything to do with Schaub on camera. It's pretty crazy, to be honest. It's pretty crazy.
Example of someone escaping the Brendan Schaub curse and immediately reaping the rewards. But since then, it's happened so many times that it's hard to ignore the pattern. Take Chappelle Lacey.
Yo, big up Chris Mack. I'm embarrassed to admit this random show, but during the pandemic days, I used to stay up past midnight on Tuesdays to watch Cats premieres. Now, I'm not gonna look. Don't be embarrassed. I've said it before in the stream chat. I thought King of the Sting in the beginning was good. King of the Sting in the beginning was a very, very good show. In the beginning, it was when they had that background where it looked like piss, it looked like a concrete. That background where it looked like concrete, with the piss stains on it and shit. And the premise of the show was like ripping into each other. They had that section about rating your aunts or whatever, your relatives, and people would send in pictures of their hot aunt or their handsome fucking uncle or something. I think all that shit was funny. Like it was an attempt to make a genuine attempt to make a funny podcast. I'm not gonna rag on that, but unfortunately it got shit. I personally think because Brendan got his feelings hurt, because a lot of the times, if you remember, I'm sure some of you guys remember this, Theo obviously got that one up on Brendan. He always had the better disses, the better insults, and Brendan didn't like that. So I think in the end Brendan told Theo to chill, and then him telling him to chill is what took out the stuffing of the show. and all the other probably background shit that was going on. But King and the Sting was a good show, man. It might be, in all honesty, that might be Brendan's best show he's ever done. Forget TFATK. I don't think TFATK was never good. Personally, I don't think TFATK was ever good. I don't think Golden Hour was ever good. Like, King and the Sting might be his only good show. His only good show in his whole repertoire of actual good shows. King and the Sting might be his only good one.
For example, who was for a long time known almost exclusively as the guy who beat Brendan Schaub in a foot race. Like, that was his entire identity in the Schaub cinematic universe. But ever since he cut ties and went his own way, his comedy career has absolutely exploded. He went from mocking Brendan Schaub on The Fighter and the Kid to working alongside one of the most famous comedians of our generation.
UFC's had 2 walk-off.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, as much as I'm happy for Chappelle and what he's doing in his career, the way he would like let Brendan like take the piss out of him on the show, the fact that he kind of like chose Brendan over Malik that one time, he kind of left a bad taste in the mouth. The giggling all the time over Brendan's dumb jokes. He's like a fucking Labrador, innit? He's like a fucking golden retriever. No, he's a literal golden retriever. Like, the fact that he didn't know anything, like if stuff happening in the news, he had no idea what was going on. Like, brother, you're on a podcast. Like, inform yourself of what's happening. Like, I don't know. I didn't understand. How do you just not know things? Like, he just didn't know anything. Like, the wearing of all the fucking band tees. All right, bro, we get it. You like bands. So we all do. We all fucking like bands. But making like all these fucking white bands your identity is fucking bizarre. I know he grew up, like, I think he was adopted, right, by a white family. But it's just a juxtaposition of him looking the way he does. Like, always fucking using the band things as a thing. Letting Brendan walk all over him. Like, oh, it just pissed me off so much. Like, even though, you know what, the Malik thing, I understand. It's a job. You want to keep your job. But it's just like, brother, man, any solidarity? Like, anything? Stand up for yourself a little bit? I'm happy he's doing well. I'm happy Chappelle is doing well. But the way he behaved on TFATK when he was on there, disgusting.
Knockouts back to back, and they're bad, man.
Walk to walk?
Back to back.
Oh, back to back. I thought you said walk to walk.
Hold on. Did Brendan say walk to walk? Hold on. Let's see.
Famous comedians of our generation.
UFC's had 2 walk-off knockouts back to back, and they're bad, man.
Walk to walk?
Back to back.
Oh, back to back. I thought you said walk to walk.
Oh, we need more of this, man. I miss this as well. I'm not gonna lie. I take it back now, Chappelle. Chappelle, you did great. I miss this era when they used to both laugh at him. You know what? I take back everything I said. Look at when they'd be both laughing at him. He fucking hated this. He hated this. Someone had to go though. Let's be honest. Someone had to go. Brendan was not going to stand. Brendan was not going to put up with this for too long. Somebody had to go. Like, this is my show. This is my show. You're not going to mock me on my own show. Somebody had to go. Malik had to pay the price.
Oh no, she's dating a girl now. She's dating Miley Cyrus's daughter.
She used to date Bella Thorne.
Miley Cyrus's daughter. Oh, his feelings are so hurt, man. Miley Cyrus's daughter, you know. Jesus Christ.
But by far the most satisfying part of watching Brendan's former underlings surpass him is the fact that Brendan is an incredibly jealous and petty individual. Like, whenever the success of any of his employees gets brought up, he immediately starts making excuses.
It's a tough fight. I'm not doing Bryson a favor. There's Theo. This one's gonna be a bonfire.
Yo, this is actually, thinking back to it, this is actually pretty decent pool. This is the advantage of being in LA, innit, when you think about it. I know Sam Tripoli, you know, he's not the biggest draw in the world, but still, innit, he's a 20-year plus stand-up comedian. He's associated with Rogan. He's been in the stand-up industry for a while. He's done his own podcast, blah, 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 blah. And then there's fucking Frank Grillo, innit? A legit Hollywood actor. He's been in decent Netflix series. He's been in decent movies, different TV series. Those are 2 pretty decent pulls for a Calabasas fight companion. Like, this show, as bad as TFATK is, it kind of died the moment it went to Austin, didn't it? They don't have the, like, they kind of got some guests in LA just because they're in LA, innit? The proximity of being in LA. But now they're in Austin, you know, outside of Rogan's kind of embrace, the show's kind of suffered even more. Like, that's a pretty good lineup when you think about it.
Way to go, Dana. $79.99. God, you're too good to us. Uncle Dana, thank you. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Did you get my card in the mail?
Who's saying that?
Theo. He tries to make every pay-per-view.
Oh, the hate, man, the jealousy, the hate and the jealousy is massively strong. Even if that is true, right? Even if that is true, that Theo does maybe try a little bit too hard to get, you know, retweeted or to get shared on the fucking UFC fucking live feed. That's your boy. That's a joke. That's a joke you only make to him in his face. You don't make that type of joke at his expense when he's not there. Because it sounds like hate. It's kind of thing you might say to your friend in person. It'll still sound like hate, but it will come across a lot more, you know what I mean? There'll be a lot more humor, a lot more playful in it, as opposed to how he's doing now. Like, fucking hell. To be fair, anyway, if you guys followed Brendan on Twitter, I don't know if you guys do, but the times I've seen Brendan's tweets during like fight nights, he does try and say things to get himself shared on there too. So he's saying what he's saying about Theo, but if you check Brendan's timeline when there's a fight card on, he does use the hashtag. He does say certain things, hoping that someone from UFC media team will see his tweet and share it on the screen. So, you know what I mean? Like, don't hate. You're only hating because you're not getting the love. You're not getting the looking.
He tries to make the tweets on every single pay-per-view.
So even if Brendan Schaub likes you, he still resents you the moment you start doing better than him. But when Brendan genuinely hates you, that's when he turns into a monster. Because when he hates you and then sees you succeed after leaving Thick Boy Studios, he completely spirals. And there might be no better example of this than Brendan's former handler, who recently just appeared on Saturday Night Live and has starred in massive commercial roles that air constantly across mainstream television networks in America. But what makes his story especially interesting is that before all of this, Mark was a struggling actor and filmmaker in Hollywood for over 20 years. And after none of that worked out, he eventually hit the lowest point of his career and accepted work from Brendan Schaub.
To be fair though, as much as a lot of people out there are not big fans of BGL, this goes to show persistence matters, isn't it? Persistence really is important, because he did have nothing before he went to Brendan. He didn't really have many great credits to his name. He was obviously doing this whole persona he's got on there, right? With the long hair and the big muscles and stuff.
Powerful bunch.
Yo, big up Coiler. Appreciate it,
Good
brother.
to see ya, M8.
Yeah, big up Coiler. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're back on the hot seat. Thank you. Appreciate it. Big up Coiler. Thank you, brother. You have to give BGL credit for persisting, for hanging on in there, because his career was going nowhere fast. He hanged in there. And to be honest, when it comes to this video, I think BGL is the success story that Brendan could look back on and say, yeah, I kind of made you, in a way. I know he didn't, but I think Brendan gave him a bit of more momentum, a bit more of a maybe reason to keep on creating, to keep on being what he was being. Obviously, he went through a bit of a lull after Brendan, because of that whole debacle with him and his girl and all the drama and the back and forth. But he came out of it pretty well in the end. So I think this is a example of, like, you know, actually persisting, because he was down bad before TFATK and before Thick Boy. But I'm not too sure if he'll view it that way. You know, he might see it as like, nah, I was always going to get there anyway. Fuck fucking Brendan. But I think Brendan might have a right to say that he made BGL in a way, or he set him on his way.
Which of course turned out to be a massive mistake, because according to Mark, Brendan treated him like absolute garbage the entire time he worked for him. Like, Brendan would summon him to do random tasks that had nothing to do with the podcast. And after getting fired, Mark posted alleged text messages between him and Schaub from his time working there, which...
That's a good point though. He does make a good point. Although he got a lot of work from Brendan, or like he was still, you know, not a lot of work, but he kept him around, right? Being with Thick Boy kept BGL around. It kept him around the scene, kept him around the industry, somewhat far away from it, but still kept him around. He does make a good point, American Redact. It's not as if Brendan actually respected him though, innit? It's not as if Brendan gave him like creative control. you know, to create director shows or to make to make skits. I'm not sure. No, actually they did. They made a couple adverts. So I don't know. I don't know what BJ thinks. I'll be curious to know what BJ actually thinks of this whole thing, like of this video in particular. Does he view his time with Brendan positively? Like all of the drama to one side, you know, putting aside their personal grievances, can he still give Brendan his props for being like, yeah, you basically helped me out at a dark time. I was going through it. I was probably considering quitting stand-up, quitting like the whole industry and entertainment, but working with Fit Boy kind of kept me going. Or does he just see it as like, fuck that guy, I was going to get here anyway, my talent was going to speak for itself, plus he was making me fetch fucking Diet Cokes and shit.
If you haven't seen yet, are absolutely insane, as most of the messages consisted of Brendan nagging Mark to DM baddies on Instagram for him, and according to Mark, this happened at all hours of the day and night. But eventually, Mark and Brendan left on extremely bad terms. Mark was fired from the podcast and then started telling wild stories about Brendan in various different interviews.
There are certain things you got to fix about your life. You're stressed about some stuff.
Yeah, I got to fire more people.
How is your psoriasis?
It's getting better, man.
It looks good.
Yeah, I fired some people and it's getting better.
And what started me getting fired was like, I couldn't come in for Schaub show because I was with my wife in Vegas and had planned to come earlier, but couldn't. Like, you know, you could be Joe Rogan and be like, he does a TED Talk. You know, it's like everything's like, he'll find a way to, you know, the mental acrobatics that he does in order to dismiss other people who are more successful than him is astounding.
So Brendan truly hated this guy long before Mark's acting career suddenly exploded, which makes it so funny to imagine Brendan's reaction to seeing him pop up in mainstream commercials every night for the past year. I mean,
you know what's mad about this? Here's what I'm going to say. It wouldn't surprise me, knowing Brendan the way I know Brendan, right? Knowing Brendan the way I know Brendan, knowing Brendan how I know him from afar, my parasocial knowledge of Brendan's personality, it wouldn't surprise me if Brendan's view on these commercials is like, yeah, they're commercials. Anyone can get them. It wouldn't surprise me if Brendan wasn't all that impressed with BJ's ability to land these commercials or to be featured prominently in A$AP Rocky's music videos, to appear on the live performance during the SNL show, to be down the after credits, to take pictures with. It wouldn't surprise me if Brendan doesn't really respect or doesn't, you know, think much of that and think it's minor things. Oh yeah, of course it would, like that. Like everyone's done commercials. I've done commercials, you know. It wouldn't surprise me if he'd completely dismiss it as like not that big of a deal. They're just commercials. He hasn't done anything that impressive. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
You probably recognize Mark from that massive Bosch commercial that aired during the Super Bowl last year, which he co-starred in with Antonio Banderas and played Macho Man Randy Savage, which Bosch in Hollywood seem to absolutely love, because now it genuinely feels like they're trying to turn him into the next Jake from State Farm or Flo from Progressive. Like, he keeps landing bigger, more polished, more high-profile ads where he's the central character, and it turns out that he's genuinely good at this. Like, unlike Brendan Schaub's lucky break with Joe Rogan, Mark Harley is a legitimately solid commercial actor, so you just know that this is all driving Brendan completely insane.
Say what you want about BJ. This is 20 years in the making, isn't it? Like, say what you want about this guy, but this is 20 years of in the making. Like, there's video evidence of BJ trying to make it for a long fucking time. I mean, it goes to show just how brutal the Hollywood entertainment industry is, isn't it? It took BGO 20 plus years to make it, quote unquote, and he probably still doesn't feel like he's made it properly. But he's probably making the best money he's made in a while. That's why we don't really hear him rant. Oh, by the way, big up whoever's telling him, if it's himself, whoever is advising him, or whether it's BJ himself, his ability to keep his mouth shut for the most part has been admirable. He should keep it up. His ability to not go and turn on his live and sit there and start spitting has been very, very good. He's done some little things here and there, leaving comments on Unix videos and shit, but he hasn't really said nothing to a camera. Smart. Don't fuck up any blessings or any future opportunities. You know, people digging up old video. Like, you don't want none of that shit. You just, you know what I mean? But it's probably been hard to keep, because Brendan's been firing some shots, innit? He's been firing some shots lately, so his ability to not bite has been very admirable.
As he probably assumed that Mark's career was over when he fired him.
I don't know, man. I've been contemplating whether hitting you back up. You seem really
You're a bit coiler, yeah. Those commercial jobs can be hitting when you're on the roll. Yeah, I've heard commercials pay good money. I've heard commercials can pay some good money, especially when I forgot what it is. Is it syndicated or whatever? You can sometimes get is it syndicated, the term? But I remember someone saying that you can get like a fee for a commercial, and you can also get like a reoccurring amount, I guess, like over time if the commercial keeps running. But yeah, they make good money, which is why you don't see him on socials shouting and screaming. Let's be honest, like we've all been there, bro. We've all been there when you're struggling, when you're trying to make it. Like the reasons why he was writing essays on the Reddit was because he was down bad, didn't it? Trying to figure shit out. He's getting older. He wants to settle down. Nothing's working out. Like, you know what I mean? Things were, you know what I mean? He was down to he was in a probably, you know what I mean? In that place. Big up.
Big up, Sauce. This future baseball dad thanks you for keeping my newborn daughter and I company late night with this slop.
I love
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Big up figure 424. Appreciate you. That's the best compliment I could ever get. That's the best compliment I could ever get. Appreciate you, and God bless you and your little daughter and your little family. I appreciate you.
Really upset.
No, I don't.
I get it, man.
Oh, but big up Coiler. Syndication is when your commercial plays so many times you get paid more. That's it. Residual. That's the word. Big up Coiler. That's the word I'm looking for. Residuals. So I heard in commercials you can get paid two ways. One is an upfront fee, and second is the residuals. Or maybe in some cases you can get paid this twice like that. You can get an upfront appearance fee and you can get residuals. So I'm sure he's eating very well, which is why you don't see him spitting feathers on fucking social media anymore.
You wanted to hurt me, you got me, brother.
You got me.
Definitely got me.
Hold on.
I get it,
man. If you wanted to hurt me, you got me, brother.
You got me.
Got me.
That quote was going crazy on Reddit when that first dropped. That quote, if you wanted to hurt me, you got me, bro. If you wanted to one more time.
I get it,
man. If you wanted to hurt me, you got me, brother.
You got me.
Got me.
I'm bleeding out.
I don't understand it. I don't
understand it.
Your friend. It's weird. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. You know, I'm not even mad. I'm not. I don't know why. It's weird. I'm not mad. I'm just hurt, man. I'm sad about it.
It's all about me. I'm not even hurt.
You're a friend, man. You're a really good friend. You don't have a ton of friends.
So you know I don't have a ton of friends.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Why?
I hope you're doing okay.
I hope you're doing okay.
I hope you're doing okay.
Obviously, you're mentally unwell, and that's the reason you're doing this, right?
Even now.
You know.
But the cherry on top of it all was when Mark recently appeared on Saturday Night Live during A$AP Rocky's performance. With the best part being that A$AP Rocky literally requested for Mark Harley specifically to be in the grand finale of the entire thing. He even made it to the end credits, where you can see him dapping up A$AP Rocky, who, might I remind you, is one of the biggest rappers in the world and also happens to be married to Rihanna.
Man. Oh, penny for Brendan's thoughts on that one. Because you know for sure, if there's one person Brendan wanted to fail, if there's one person Brendan was hoping would fail and would disappear back into obscurity, would be filming if there's one person Brendan hoped would be filming TikTok skits, if there's one person Brendan would have hoped would be filming TikTok skits and stuff, would be BGO. He was probably wishing on his downfall, praying on his downfall. To see BGO land the way he did on his feet, it probably tore, like he probably was, you can just imagine the rage that he probably felt seeing him on the TV. Plus, Brendan's a TV watcher, by the way. Brendan watches TV. Brendan's got that. He's got like seven flat screen TVs dotted around his mansion, right? You know this guy watches television, so he's for sure seen the adverts play. He's for sure seen the clips on social media. Like he's seen BGO. Like I haven't, because you know I don't live in America. A lot of stuff that he's done, you know, I'm seeing it on social, and I don't have a TV. But Brendan has a TV. He definitely has a TV. So he's seen that stuff. Oh, imagine how angry he must have been inside. His son be like, hold on, hey dad, isn't that the guy that you used to work with? Dad, isn't that the guy you used to work with? Isn't that Uncle BGL?
And again, just remember that all of this happened almost immediately after Mark was fired from Thick Boys Studios. So if that doesn't reinforce the idea that Brendan Schaub is cursed with a lifetime of professional failure, I really don't know what does. Like, unless you escape his rear naked choke, that curse will eventually get you, because misery loves company. And it honestly seems like Brendan...
Oh, unless you escape his rear naked choke. Is that almost referring to chin as well? Because he had chin in that fucking choke, innit? Unless you escape his choke. Unless you escape his choke. Ouch.
Enjoys watching the few people he still has around him slowly crumble into irrelevance alongside him. I mean, just take a look at Brian Callen, for example, who is currently at the saddest and most pathetic state in his career. Like, he and his old pal Joe Rogan really tried everything they could to revive that last year, making him a regular at the mothership and shooting an hour-long stand-up comedy special. But even after all that, his comedy career is still in the gutter. And now, at the ripe age of 59 years old, he's stuck doing a mindless podcast with Brendan Schaub twice a week in a literal storage room in Texas.
Do you know what I wanted?
I'm actually Korean, bro.
I wanted to name my kid Karate Callen.
Dude, that'd be great.
It's pronounced karate.
Well, they're either gonna excel in karate, or if it's a female, it's gonna be a stripper.
Or it's
coming to the stage, Karate Callen.
Her dad was never around. He was a comic chasing approval.
Get ready.
Ticket.
Fellas, watch your face, because the high kicks are coming. It's Karate Callen.
She's got bruises on her thighs, and you can catch 78-year-old Brian Callen at the San Jose Improv.
Jesus Christ, man. It's kind of interesting point that he did make, innit? It felt like Rogan did intentionally try to revive his career. I think the truth of the matter is the damage was done the moment he got cancelled and everyone dropped him. I know cancel culture back then was very kind of, it was just hard to kind of navigate through. But something, you know, if Rogan would have had him on the show to try and explain his side of the story, if Rogan didn't refuse to mention his name for like 2 years, if he didn't disappear for a year, it might have been different. But I think the damage was done irreversibly so when the cancellation came. Because people also forget, before the cancellation, Callen had the Joker movie, he had the show on he had that show, right? Schooled and shit. The Goldberg story, then Schooled. Callen was doing pretty well industry-wise, and still his comedy wasn't doing that great. You know what I mean? So it wasn't as if he was shit hot. It wasn't as if like the stuff he was doing was like really doing anything, you know? It was just letting him kind of like, you know, trickle along kind of thing. So the cancellation killed any type of momentum. Whatever little momentum he had, the cancellation killed it. And then what he did after didn't help either. But it is kind of interesting when you think about Rogan did intentionally try to revive his career, make him a regular at the Comedy Store, giving him the ability to fucking film his special there, and it did nothing. It did nothing.
This weekend, Friday, Saturday.
Hey, that was good. Hey, are you a fan of Karate Callen? Yeah, she'll do a spinning back kick and hit you with her titties.
That's
right. Her dad needs help selling tickets this weekend in San Jose.
She does take money. She takes money. Dad can't sell tickets.
she'll take your money, but then also help her dad out. He's in the corner over there.
Dad's Hollywood dreams never really came to fruition.
He's banking on his daughter collecting at least $100 a night, gentlemen. Go ahead and give it up for Karate Callen.
Got a lot of friends that are really successful in the business, and none of them give him a part in a movie.
So all those recent failures, combined with Schaub constantly interrupting and belittling him, has completely worn away at whatever spirit he had left.
Bro, I don't know about you, but I've done 5 specials, and I was watching my last one, which I think I just missed the mark on. It doesn't matter. It gelled later on, but I'm trying to be too whatever it was.
Critical. It gelled later on. I missed the mark on it. It gelled later on. Is fucking crazy. My stand-up gelled later. If you just keep watching it, it gets better. Does it though? If you just hang in there. I know the first 20 is rough. I know the first half an hour is brutal, but if you hang in there, I promise you it gets better. Holy shit.
No, I'm trying to be too. No, in the special. I'm just trying to be a little bit too. It wasn't I wasn't trying. It just probably came off a little heavy-handed. It doesn't matter. It gelled 3 months later, and I was like, all right, well, that's the way that is. But more importantly, I'll watch myself, and I watch this 5 hours of material, and I can't even get through it.
Why not?
Because I hate myself. I hate me. I hate everything. And then I'm watching 10-minute podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just didn't. And so I hate myself, of course. I'm so critical of myself, and I can't help it because sometimes I'm just like, maybe I'll quit everything.
So, as you can see now, he's completely done for. Another example of the Brendan Schaub curse can be seen in Brendan's longtime producer, Chin Soo Yi, whose life is so interestingly sad that I could genuinely make an...
Interestingly sad. Yo, big up. Big up. Who's that? Did you write a message? Who was that? Sorry, it didn't come up on our screen here. Oh, big up Gamebred. Thank you for being a member for fucking 9 months. Big up Gamebred, bro. Big up Gamebred. You're a fucking legend. Big up Blood Clot Gamebred for being a 9-month member. An absolute fucking solid G. One of the solidest G's. One of the solidest G's of all fucking time. Big up Gamebred Footballer. Appreciate you, bro.
Hour-long documentary about it. But just to keep it short, just know that he willingly puts up with Brendan constantly tormenting him, and is so blindly loyal to the guy that he followed him all the way to Austin to continue to produce his dying podcast.
I don't think it's blind loyalty. I think Chin genuinely likes Brendan and Brian. I think some of us just have to accept that. It doesn't make sense to you and I, but it's not blind loyalty. I think Chin genuinely likes and appreciates and looks up to both Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub. He looks at them like his uncles. Although they're in a similar age group. Although him and Brendan are probably 1 year apart or something, right? Although they're all in a similar type of age group, I'm sure he looks up to Brendan and Brian like they're his uncles. So I think we have to just... I know it doesn't make sense to us, but I think Chin genuinely likes them.
Where he apparently lives all alone without friends or family at the ripe age of nearly 50 years old.
What are you doing for New Year's, Chin?
I can tell
you. Just me watching.
Take a wild
Brian?
guess. Yeah, take a wild guess.
Nothing.
He'll be in his apartment, sipping on juice.
No,
I can't sip on juice anymore, man.
Sipping on gin and juice.
No.
Chin will surprise you, though. Be like, I got a buddy, he plays in this band.
Are you drinking it all? It's hard, though, right, to replace, because you have nothing to replace it.
Yeah, it's boring.
Besides the four walls of your place.
Yeah.
There you go, Chin.
Thank you.
You're on with the team.
I worry about you, Chin.
I appreciate that.
I don't worry about Chin.
I do.
Appreciate that.
I don't.
I don't like that he's...
Alone?
Alone? If Chin... If they worry about Chin, what do you think his parents think? Because, you know, Asian parents are very similar to most immigrant parents, right? I think most Hispanic... Most non-white parents are like Asian parents. So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on him from his family side of things to settle down. Especially, I don't know if Chin's older brother is married. That'll be the only difference. Maybe he's lucky in that respect. Maybe Chin and his older brother are both single. Cause I don't really hear Chin talk about having to look after his fucking nieces and nephews and all that shit, you know? So maybe him and his brother are both single, so it makes it easier. And maybe because Chin's brother's that's probably what's happened. Maybe Chin actually gets away with it with his family because his brother's the firstborn. And usually in most immigrant families, the firstborn's the one that gets all the fucking bullets. I know I did anyway, because I was the firstborn in my family. You're the one that gets all the bullets. You're the one that gets all the pressure. You know what I mean? So maybe he's lucky because his brother isn't married or in a relationship or have family or whatever, and he doesn't have one either, so it kind of is okay. But the moment his brother settles down, it's gonna be tricky for Chin. It's gonna be fucking tricky. But you know, just imagine the type of pressure he must go through in his family, especially if he's got like other relatives who are settled down and, you know, got a family and shit. Ish. But then again, to be fair to Chin, like, not to be fair to Chin, to be fair to ladies out there, like, you gotta be a special type of woman to put up with Chin. You gotta be a special type of woman to willingly be in a relationship with this guy. You know, yes, I know he might make money and shit and all this stuff, and yeah, you know, he might stumble into some TFATK groupie, you know, pussy that might be willing to give him a family. That's possible. But I think long term, you're going to have to be a different type of woman. You're going to have to be made of some different type of shit to put up with this guy on a daily. You know? He's a little bit immature. He's a little bit, special. He's a little bit special. You're going to have to be a different type of woman to put up with that shit.
Other than that, though, Chin actually seems like a harmless guy with pretty good intentions. But his unwavering allegiance to the world's worst podcaster is where people start to criticize him. Like everyone's shouting at him to rid himself of the Schaub curse, but he refuses to listen. As for Brendan himself, well, his failure rate speaks for itself. I mean, it all started when Joe Rogan essentially forced him into retirement from the UFC, where he would then go on to try stand-up comedy, which, as you know by now, completely failed.
Why don't you just go over and introduce yourself, right? I'll pick some Mexican cookies, and you go over there. I'm like, what the fuck's a Mexican cookie? What are you talking about? It's like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it?
I disagree. I think Brendan's failure started the moment he lost the Showtime deal. I think Brendan Schaub's failure started the moment he lost the Showtime deal. That Showtime deal was such a sweet little gig. He got essentially paid to talk about MMA in the UFC. He got paid to talk about boxing, MMA, and the UFC at large. He got paid to do so. A nice little salary. They probably paid for the studio, the cameras, and like, it was a good fucking gig. The moment he fumbled and didn't get a contract extension, didn't get a renewal, is the moment the downward spiral started. Because if he would have got a contract negotiation, if he would have got a contract renewal, he could have maybe squeezed out another special out of them. He could have maybe squeezed another special out of them. He probably could have squeezed another one out. He probably could have squeezed the world tour, squeezed a budget for a new show, put more money into King. I mean, he could have got a lot more out of it. But the moment he lost that is when the downward spiral started. So Showtime deal fumble was one of the biggest fumbles of his career.
What are you talking about?
Like, it was so bad that he quit after he released the 2 lowest rated comedy specials of all time on IMDb. Like, he literally holds that record. He then, of course, launched a whiskey brand, TFATK, which he slowly stopped mentioning on his podcast.
This also, he must have been like, I wonder if it was just like hubris. Was it hubris? Or was it just a lack of knowledge? Because this one I don't understand, because the whiskey thing would have been an easy win if you would have done it the same way everyone else done it. Everyone else does it in a way where like it's a white label thing, right? Everyone else does it as a white label thing where a company would approach you and say, hey, we want you to develop a whiskey with us. You might, add the final notes as in taste wise. You might make up the name, but we'll handle everything. You just sell it. And instead, it felt like he did this himself. He did like a more of a hands-on approach, because then the prices were also way higher. Because I think most people that do the white label, act as you're basically a glorified ambassador, but you pretend like you own it. That sort of thing that all celebrities do. Usually the bottles that they sell are super cheap. They're usually in line with like stuff that you might buy in a liquor store. No, something you might buy in the supermarket, not in the liquor store. Like, from Jameson's price upwards and shit, like $30, £20, £30. So the fact that his one was so expensive, £90, $90 plus when it dropped, makes me think that he worked with a company that, had like smaller quantities to deal with, or he was more hands-on in it. He wanted to act like he was actually just like, brother, like just do what everyone else is doing. Just cheat. Just finesse the thing. I never understood why he didn't just finesse it and just do what everyone else did. But to be fair too, he was also very, very uneducated when it came to selling liquor. Do you remember that whole iconic era when he thought he could take the bottles to his comedy shows and sell them after? Do you guys remember that whole thing? Then he got told, no, you actually, there's like state rules about alcohol, and he had no idea. He thought he could sell it on Shopify. Remember that also? He was going to sell the whiskey on his TFATK.com. Like, there was a tab there, buy the whiskey. Oh, I would love to know how many bottles of unused TFATK were in those fucking cargo containers. I'm sure that he's got rid of all them, or they've probably been destroyed. I wonder how many unsold crates of TFATK whiskey are out there still, just unsold, just gathering mad dust, still with the fucking shrink wrap around them. I wonder how many are out there.
While overpriced bottles from the very first batch still gather dust to this very day.
Dude, what's up with that, man? What's up with this Tiger Thick shit? I want to know a deep dive into this Tiger Thick shit. Obviously, I don't drink. If I did, I would be Tiger Thicking it up. What's the fucking deal, dude?
What do you mean?
So you came out with this thing, and it's good, apparently, right?
Great.
I don't drink
Award
it.
winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You fucking.
Pay for your
what's
award.
the deal? What's the goal with this? You're gonna sell it? You make a bank? What's going on, dude?
Daddy, I got an offer.
All right, so take that and be done with it, dude.
Just get out.
Yeah, get out. First off, I go like this, yes. And then this way, dude, I don't have to hear you say thick nectar anymore. Okay?
It's triggering for
Yeah,
you.
you say thick nectar.
Jesus Christ, man. That alcohol bloat. That was like happy. I miss his era. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of didn't. I took his era for granted. That bloat. Look at the face, and look at how big his face looks. By the way, did I stretch the screen? The screen's a bit stretched here. A bit stretched, but anyway, look at how big his face looks, bro. Look at how big his face looks.
Nectar so much, man. That bothers me. So.
Which brings us to the current day, with his latest grift being his truck company, Drive Fast All Gas, which at this point just looks like a creative excuse to squeeze out as much merch sales as possible before his career inevitably collapses. The funniest part about all of his failures, though, is that Brendan Schaub literally holds the record for the most appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience, which means that he somehow managed to turn the most valuable free advertising platform on Earth into absolutely nothing. So when you take all of this into consideration, it's pretty impossible to say that the Brendan Schaub curse is fake, because it's actually just him spreading his mentality to everyone in his close proximity, which effectively holds them down at his level and prevents them from becoming more successful than him. And they don't really realize that that's going on until they leave him behind for good, which leads to their careers skyrocketing shortly after. But anyways, guys, that is it for the video. Thanks so much for watching.
If you're a comic, Brendan talks about you. Brendan is a narcissistic asshole who lies to people and defames them behind their back. That's not the kind of guy that I feel any sort of loyalty to protect his nature now.
That's the thing though with BGO though. Like, I get it, right? Brendan was a piece of shit to you. He hurt your feelings. He disrespected you. He ruined your reputation, or tried to ruin your reputation. Tried to close some doors for you, right? Really fucked with you. But I can't really take some of this stuff seriously because I was there, man. I was there when BGO was defended. Like, BGO only had this opinion of Brendan when Brendan started to piss him off. When Brendan was doing this to other people, he didn't have a problem with it. You know, that's the only thing I don't like about this sort of stuff on the BGO. Like, I get it. Brendan's a piece of shit. We all know he's a piece of shit on here. But when we were telling him he was a piece of shit, he was going on like rants, tirades, writing essays in the comment section, like writing fucking, you know, literal fucking novels in the fucking replies on Reddit and shit. He was going nuts defending Brendan. Then as soon as Brendan started to piss him off, as soon as Brendan started to annoy him, as soon as Brendan started to tick him off, as soon as Brendan started to, you know what I mean? Then suddenly he started to agree and started to come over to this side. So it's a little bit like, I get it, but hey,